welcome to the weekly recap where we talk everything that has to do with VCT Pacific. I'm Achilleos, back alongside Quack as well as Tasteless, and we'll be going through everything that has happened in this very eventful week of VCT. Now, you might notice that we do in fact have an empty chair next to me, and no, it's not because I'm socially distancing away from those guys, because we do have a special guest that's going to be joining us in a moment, but before we get into that, let's just go ahead and dive straight into the standings, because we have had some pretty big tectonic shifts as far as the teams and their positions.
It's been a crazy week. We see DRX is absolutely on top of the stack here
Still?
at 6
Okay.
and 0. Genji looking very good, but very excited to see the Paper Rex. We were talking about how this feels like it's a top 3 team, but they weren't quite there yet. Well, after our results here today, they pop back up to the top.
I mean, yeah, I think so, but also the tectonic shift, the earthquake in our weekly standings that Kilios was talking about has to be, that match between Gen G as well as Global Esports.
Yeah.
We have the bottom few teams slowly starting to climb their way up, and it's a lovely sight, I think.
No, it certainly is. I mean, Global continued to show their potential, just hasn't quite been there fully in their results, but being able to take down Gen G was certainly a big showing in that regard. 13 and 8 on both of those maps. It was a really great result from those guys, and we're hoping to see more of that as we go through the final few weeks, because, I mean, we're well past the halfway point. Week 7 is going to be coming up next, but we also have our special guest. But who is it going to be?
Who could it be?
We're going to find out. Who could it be now? And we have a couple little hints, I suppose, for you guys to
It's gotta be
figure out.
Bankai, right?
No.
No?
No. But we'll give the hints, and we'll see if the chat can go ahead and figure out who our special guest is here today. Now, your first hint is that they joined their team in August 2021.
Oh, that's easy. I have no idea. I have no clue. It doesn't help me at all.
I'd like a lifeline. Can I call, I don't know, Paper X's CEO?
You want to phone a friend here?
Yeah,
This is not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
No.
We're not trying to get sued.
Get the heartbeat music out.
All right. Well, maybe that one's a little bit too tough. So we'll say, okay, they're a very flexible player that plays a numerous amount
could be
of
any one of them.
agents.
Except for Mindfreak. Mindfreak plays controller, but everyone else kind of swaps around.
Yeah, if this is a game of Guess Who, it didn't get that much easier. I don't know.
on.
All right.
I can't
We
tell
need more
you.
hints, Seth.
Maybe one more hint will get you guys over the finish line here. His teammates call him Sultan.
All right, okay.
That doesn't help me at all. I don't know.
I was going to say Quack should get it. I appreciate you guys selling this as if you don't know who it is, but for the chat, you might have figured it out already. But if not, let's go ahead and welcome Devi, our special guest.
Hey.
That's right. You guys had no idea. We already knew who was going to be on here. We're casters and actors.
No, okay.
A flawless, Oscar-worthy performance. Well, Devi,
taste.
thank you so much for joining us here on the Weekly Recap. A pleasure
you
to
for
have
having
you,
me.
especially since you're fresh off of your match, obviously only taking place for us here about 20 or so minutes ago. For the viewers who are watching on Friday, hello from the past. But a very close series versus Talon, and I want to know, what are your initial thoughts after that? When you've had a little bit of time to cool down after that series, do you think that you guys let it get closer than it should have been, or do you think that Talon played really well?
I think first of all, I think they played a very good games against us. But for me, obviously, I was just thinking about the first match because I was having like a good performance, right? So I wasn't thinking about like, oh, I need to like guide these people, like trying to throw flashes. It's just like about me, oh, I need to, wake up and then like show up in the second matches. So yeah.
Well, you certainly did, and I mean, we'll get to the MVPs later, but you were able to net that one here for that series, so it was a strong performance in the end.
How does it compare from your hometown?
I mean, probably the weather, right? I mean, coming from Malaysia, the weather is very hot and humid, right? And then here it's always been cold, but sometimes could be very hot, but not as our countries. But yeah, I mean, we've been having quite a lot of fun, trying new food and stuff. Yeah.
Well, what kind of foods have you tried out here as far as Korean
have a
dishes
favorite?
go?
I know you're like a connoisseur yourself. You've like reviewed Peranakan Laksa before.
Yeah, obviously I miss my hometown food, but like so far I'm addicted to probably tteokbokki.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And probably another one like the chicken galbi, like the duck galbi.
Galbi, yeah, chicken meat, meat. Yeah.
Always solid.
I mean, for me at least, I think, I'm with you with the weather thing for sure for myself, but I'm just gonna dive straight into like game stuff because I'm very curious, like how the team's culture or how the team's kind of attitude is now. Like in the past, I've seen you guys are having so much fun. You're playing Nintendo Switch and like the warm-up room and stuff, but now Ben's no longer in, and then you're kind of, I mean, what we're hearing is that you're the shot caller. How's that feel like with everyone else?
At the moment, since Ben is no longer in the roster at the moment, but all of us is trying to give the calls. I mean, some people say that I'm the caller for the team, but it's not really the case because everyone is trying to give a shot, and especially the duelists, I would say. Something Jason and Forsaken and Jing is giving pretty much a lot of shot calls, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a little bit of a more shared environment.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
everyone's
It's like,
being
everyone's
vocal.
like, because I think in this game, you can't have like one person to call everything because you kind of like have to deal a lot of utilities and stuff, you know. So yeah, everyone is pretty much like share the ideas and then we just execute together. If it look silly or whatever, but yeah, we just roll it, you know.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm curious, you know, was it, whose suggestion was it, or whose idea was it to go ahead and push something over onto Breach, which we saw on the last map? And did he have any reservations about playing it? Did he say like, oh, no, like I can't do it? Or was he just very open to it?
He was very open. He's the type of player kind of like Forsaken, like love to try new agent and stuff. But I would say it's more like a Alex trying to push into that position for now because we don't really have a lot of times to kind of put him into a lot of maps for now. So we just like trying to fill, basically he's trying to fill Ben's role at the moment. And yeah, so far I would say it's not too bad, but I think giving him enough time, then probably he will show up even more.
So you think we can look forward to seeing something playing even more flexible
Something
characters?
new.
Maybe some other initiators, perhaps.
Yeah,
maybe
he could
Silva
be-
or something.
Yeah, he could be ending up playing like maybe KO, Sky, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Or
right.
maybe Smoker, I don't know.
I mean, if he does this, he's going to put you out of a job
Yeah.
next. It's just going to be, you know, you and Ben Kai watching the team
Yeah.
while into CGRS maybe goes in play
that-
Gecko.
Yeah, probably. I mean, like we're just trying stuff now, and surprisingly, it's working well for us. But also, we don't really have much time for now. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna try our best to fit something to the team at the moment.
Okay. I'll do one last question because I am very curious about this. Obviously, aside from yourself, who do you think the other two teams are that can make it to Tokyo? Your DRX probably. a
Yeah, I
shoo-in,
mean,
but,
I have to say DRX right there, like.
but that other one,
unbeatable.
who's that other team?
I don't want to say us, but I don't want to jinx us, but maybe Paper X.
Well, I mean, so if it's you
Three.
and DRX, who's team
Yeah,
3?
let's get a third one in here.
The one.
It's going to be a surprise. Is it Gen G?
Global.
Is it Global? Zeta?
I would say I would go for probably Zeta.
Okay.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, I think they've been putting a lot of.
You're playing them
efforts.
next week?
Yeah, I mean, they're looking good, I would say. So yeah, maybe they're a good contender to secure the slot, and also obviously they want to be there, right, in their
Sure.
hometown. Yeah, I think the spirit's gonna help them.
All right, well,
Yeah.
time will tell if that is going to be the case. Well, for now, let's go ahead and move on. And, well, I say move on. Let's look back at this week and our MVPs that have been able to scoop up some nice accolades for themselves because we have had some absolute banger series throughout the week. But we saw off the rip, and I believe this is the first win that he's gotten in this regard, is T1's Ban, who we got to see play Jet twice in that series, and he was able to walk away with the MVP at the end of it all.
I mean, swapping off the controller role for a bit, we didn't see Intro at all this week, but he had a lot of insane performances. Actually, on Split, I think, with some flanks on towards DFM. They did drop a map, but Ban still came up with crazy performances. And then moving on to that, Depp, of course, you know, Depp was just talking about Zeta. This guy has been basically the guy to bring Zeta victories because he's always finding crazy performances, always pushing out as a duelist. Very similar to how PaperX plays, I think, actually.
Yeah, I was super hype about Rossi. Obviously, we didn't get to see this guy right away in the first couple weeks, so we had more questions than we had answers. But when he came out, he was so explosive, and he's talked a lot about the fact that sometimes he overheats, he overextends, he attacks in, and it kind of backfires. Not this weekend. This weekend, he was a killer, and I'm super excited to see what he's going to be doing in weeks to come.
Yeah, it was a huge performance from him. I mean, were you shocked to see the result in that series, you know, them
Yeah,
taking
I
out Gen
mean-
G 2-0?
I wasn't expecting that, but I would say G is the one team that I'm very impressed so far. Like they started very slow in the tournaments, but now they're looking very good. So yeah, I'm very impressed by them.
All right. Well, that impression will come into play in a little bit because we do have a tier list that we'll go through. But moving on to our next one, obviously, our second series from yesterday was Buzz being able to walk away with the MVP after a very close series, or at least close to beginning to the series versus RRQ. DRX very much gathered themselves and were able to crush out on that final map. But Buzz was a huge factor in them getting the win.
I love the picture of you here, Devi. You look like you just found out that you were the MVP. You're like, me?
It's like mid-shower,
Yeah,
washing his hair.
I don't know why they choose this photo, but
I love it. It's
this is
hilarious.
me when we just finished the first map, you know.
Well, not only do we have this excellent photo of you, but we also have some clips from you earlier today because you were able to get this MVP win and for good reason. I mean, I don't know what do you just feel right at home playing on Split? Because every time we see you playing this Viper on this map in particular, you are just crushing it.
I would say because Split used to be and still is my favorite map.
Okay.
Because last time I used to play Duelist for Paper X, and I used to, so yeah, so I really like this map, even after the changes, but technically they don't really change much, so technically it's kind of still the same, and Split has always been my favorite, so I guess that's kind of like contribute why I play well on this map, I would say.
What has it been like to be on stage here, especially in week 1 and 2? Were you nervous at all, or did you feel totally relaxed?
I would say relax for me. Like for now, I think I would just. This one, I knew
I
that
love
they
that we put this one in.
I didn't know we're gonna have that seat in there.
I knew that they're gonna leave me alone and not kill me for the economy. So I was like, okay, I'm just play with the camera, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, since week 1, I'm not really nervous or anything. I was just trying to focus on my performance because I think this tournament is really a big tournament for me personally. So like I kind of have to prove to my teammates and to the fans or like to the opponents that I have to show up this tournament. So yeah, I was just basically focusing on just myself.
First year of International League, and I think like you guys really like gave up a great performance so far. Obviously, some were a little bit tougher than others. I think purple, but at the same time, like it's Split, it's Fracture. You always show like you have a lot of game sense, and you always know where your opponents are.
Yeah, I think for some people they kind of have their favorite map or like kind of like comfortable maps, I would say. So maybe I'm very comfortable with Split and Fracture, and maybe Pearl not so much. Not really. So yeah, I mean, you get what I mean. Like sometimes like some players, I think they have their comfort zone, you know, in terms of some of the maps. So yeah, I feel that way towards Split specifically. Yeah.
All right. Well, looking forward to seeing, obviously, your future series and everything. There's a big kind of, hurdle matchup taking down Talon here to really solidify yourselves in the upper echelon now, currently in that top 3 position. So hopefully we'll get to see you guys stick around there near the top and have some excellent performances in the playoffs. And now it is time to jump into the ever controversial segment, which is the power rankings. These have remained untouched since week 4. And it is now time to yet again shuffle things around. So we'll start with you, Tasteless, right off the rip. Any teams that you think need to be moved up or down?
I think I have a team that needs to be moved up. Look, we've got down at the bottom at D, we have Detonation. Now, they did lose again, and sadly, they are at the bottom of our standings. But I think they put up a really good fight. And I think we got to move them up to like a C minus.
So you think we should go maybe like D plus C minus?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, just a little bit up there.
Yep.
Okay.
They are improving. It's sad. Look, they are at the bottom, but I think their games have looked better overall, and I think they've improved. So yeah.
I think this is fair. I think we can keep them in here. When they get that win, they jump that hurdle. That could be the time that they shoot up. And hey, if they beat DRX in the next series, then maybe they'll go up even higher. So we'll have to see what happens. But for now, we'll leave TFM in that spot. Quack, how about you?
Oh boy. All right, I think we'll start with something easy. Let's move Talon to just C tier. They did take a map off Paper Rex today.
This is true. That's upward growth, so a solid C.
Please don't hate me yet, Devi.
A solid C locked in there for Talon. Devi, how about you? Anything that you would like to change? I'll say you're not allowed to touch your own team. Any other teams do you think that they were,
I think personally, DFM should be higher. I think they've been playing very well, like from at least for the past 2 weeks, I would say. I think they improved a lot. And also Talon.
So maybe like
Maybe C,
like
inside
a
C probably.
little
Maybe,
more?
maybe
A little
a
more?
little bit.
Right around here. You think this I mean, this you know, little
Maybe-
step ladder we got going on here?
Yeah.
And maybe for Talon, I would increase maybe slightly closer to B, I would say.
I feel like we got to add a grade at the top
All
of
right,
this.
we did a half move for DFM and a half move. That equates to one full move for Divide there.
Wow.
So we're gonna do this,
Yeah, I
I
think-
suppose.
I think they are playing very well, like Talon,
playing
especially against us. I mean, that's what I feel personally. I think they're a very good team at the moment.
All right, this is tough for me.
You gotta be the first one. You're the host.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I'm gonna do something that for me is certainly controversial. I'm gonna knock Gen.G down a peg.
Yeah.
I think that they're still near the top, but given what we saw from Global in an A position, I'm very happy with. I think Gen.G kind of needs to move down to
No, I
in
support
between
this.
here.
I'm on your side.
Does anyone disagree?
Move him down a little
Nah.
bit.
Yeah.
I feel like
They lost to Global.
if it was closer, maybe it wouldn't be as catastrophic. But 13-8 that's a pretty one-sided result when you're the expected favorites in a series, and to not be able to rally back, I think that they have to go down here.
Yeah, I agree
We'll go
with
back
you.
around the tasteless.
If I may be the yin to your yang, I would like to have Global Esports go up to S.
Oh.
I think we got to bump them up.
G fighting?
Yeah,
G
I
fighting.
think they're looking good, especially this week. You guys disagree?
Nah, man.
I mean,
I agree.
okay. If anything, I think I'd
He
bring
wasn't
them
going to do it, and then Divine's like, I agree. He's like, all right.
within anything, I think I might bring them to within parity of Gen.G. I mean, granted, they did beat them, but the
Yeah.
record
Yeah.
isn't there to reinforce it. So I feel like putting them above Gen.G, even though they have that head-to-head, still feels a little bit rough to me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair
All right,
enough.
you've convinced me.
All right. So we'll go half C's for Global as well.
This is a democracy.
All right. And they'll be sat right on top of Secret, like that.
Cool.
Quack.
Ooh.
All right.
Anything else, or do you like the set right now?
I do have a little question. I mean, is it considered a move if I just fix and leave a team in their current position? Is that cool? Because I don't want to move T1.
You want to solidify T1?
Yeah, I think
You
so.
want to say that so basically you're proposing that we keep T1 here.
Maybe, because they dropped a map to DFM. I think nobody really expected that. And their performance has been good, but also not too like crazy or anything, you know? So I feel like a C+ or just B- is kind of justified.
Any disagreeers?
I'm not going to fight it.
All right. Tasteless not going. What do you think? What's your read
Bang
here
the
for T1?
I'm just riding with Pet on this one.
All right. All right. Okay.
We're all playing it safe.
Yeah,
Out of the teams that haven't been moved, do you think that there's anything else that needs to shift here? This time,
I
I'll
would
let you
probably-
go with Paper X if you want to.
Nah, I think Pebret doesn't deserve the A spot yet. I think we kind of like towards the B or C at the moment. But I would like to move RRQ. I think they kind of deserve the spotlight, right, for beating GRX for one map.
Taking the map? Okay, but where? Do you think that they go to like a B+?
Maybe like a B+.
A B+?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to move them to this side then to fit them into this, because
Yeah,
otherwise it's a little bit...
I think that will look.
I agree with that one.
Yeah.
They had a really good showing. It was maybe the most unexpected
Yeah, of
results
course,
we've had so far.
I
You
mean,
gotta give them some
yeah.
credit, right?
I mean, no offense, but I think no one expected that, right?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
certainly not.
Wow.
I mean, we saw pretty much everybody predicting, other
Yeah.
than Quack,
Yeah.
you know, I keep bringing this
Yeah.
up, for DRX to be able to get that win, and we expected it to be a clean 2-0, so it certainly was surprising. I'm going to get hate for this one. I know I am. This will be, I think, the last move,
gonna
because
do
I think everybody else is pretty much, you know, right where they should be, but I think we have to knock Secret down a peg.
I have to agree, actually.
You
That was
know?
what I was thinking.
They suffered the loss here. I think they have to go to a firm B.
I think that's fair.
Any
I think
I
they
have no right for this. I lost to them.
Yeah,
This
they
is true.
had a blowout performance, but it does seem like these other results are
And
starting
that's
to catch up.
that's
to
when
them,
we were
right?
riding the hype train, but it's kind of died down a little bit. And I think until they pick it back up, which hopefully they do, they're right now, you know, at that 6th place spot. They're on the verge of being in the playoffs, but until we see them level up a little bit more, I think they're going to have to just rest there at the B position. But all right, I think if we're happy with that, we'll lock it in. This is the power ranking. It's done. It's sealed. And
Sure, you don't want me to like move Paper X down a peg?
we'll leave them where they're at.
All right.
At least for giving us a hype series. But I mean, even Devi himself saying they think that they're in the B position. But, with the tier list out of the way, there's nothing left to do other than to look forward to next week's matches. Week 7 now on the horizon. And things continue to get heated up as, again, we saw in the standings earlier, there's so many teams that are just tight-knit around the center of the standings. Global, RRQ, both of them looking to break in and move up into that top 6 and get into a firm position so they can participate in the playoffs. But I mean, we'll just go down the line. Tasteless, any matchups here that catch your eye?
Let's see here. I think RRQ versus Global Esports is going to be interesting. They both really played well. So it's like, I mean, I think Global Esports should win that, but the way RRQ's performed, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just clicked and they're going to be nothing but wins. I don't know.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, that's one of those matches that you don't quite know what to expect, similar to Paper X vs. Talent today, but they have been growing, and it's fun to see where that growth leads to. But I don't know about you guys. My eyes are zeroed in on one match, and I feel like Lish, Davai, you have to agree with me on this one. Paper X versus Zeta. This is the one where you kind of have to think about how this will shake up the standings. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we lost to them in Masters before, so yeah. I think personally I would looking forward also to fight them again. Yeah.
Okay, what about you though? Since we've already covered your matchup against Zeta, was there anything else up there that you find to be exciting and one that you want to watch?
I would choose same as Nick. I would go for RRQ versus Global. I think Global is very good at the moment, and also same goes for RRQ. And I think SKRC gonna show something interesting also against RRQ. G fighting.
See, for me, it's going to be that Secret versus T1 series. These two teams right here, because I think that's going to be ever important in deciding the fates of those squads when it comes down to the playoffs.
That's true as well.
I think the winner that walks away with that victory is going to be having a much easier time of actually being able to compete in the playoffs. So I'm going to have my eyes trained on that one. But it seems like the whole week is set up to provide a ton of entertainment, even DFM versus DRX. If DFM can continue to look better and better, Soldam, the kind of OG Korean Jet going up against the very new,
Foxy
Spicy?
new rookie Korean Jet and Foxy 9. That's going to be a really good display of mechanical ability on the Jet. But that about does it for us here at the weekly recap. Davai, again, thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yep, thank you for having me.
And Tasteless for being alongside me. But that's going to do it from us, and we'll see you guys back here again for more VCT Pacific in Week 7.
Bye.
Bye-bye.